All right, pond update. Now this one turned out pretty red, eh? You know how I pick it up this one now? Do you come from a land down under? Yeah, man. I can't even get the red out of my plunder. Do you hear that thunder? You better run. You better take cover. Ooh, that looks scary. It's got a picture in there, though. A psychologist would say, now what comes in your first thought? Because whatever it is, that's what we need to work on. And if you take too long, that's not your first thought. So come on quickly, what's your first thought? Because we've got something to say about it afterwards. Anyway, I was about to do the top here, then I realised I did a sleeping day today. I don't live out in a country town with a shed and an area where I can just go out there and do what you want. That's the cool thing about country house, right? Out of the town a little bit, is you can make all the noise you want. There's a little bit there. That glue, is that glue? I noticed it's come out whitish like. I've got to bang some rocks before I get into it, as I want it to be not so rocky looking on the outside with big chunks. So these are the chunks over here, some existing pond rocks as we're changing. I'm actually made more room, look like it's more there, with more resources left over than what was originally there. So this is the resources that were there between the pond outside, the one at the back and the one at the front. These are the rocks left over still. That's what I've done so far with one pump, and that's how much rocks I still got. Now I'm about to break up these and use pretty much this pole here around the room, probably half of it maybe, not quite all of it, and give them a little spruce up and a little knot, as it's going to have a little bit of the old story in with the new, as I like to put in some old stories and old materials into it. And as humans say, and rich people too, why they buy so expensive, right, and why they get history, is because it's history, which is a story where it come from. Even pickers, they talk about stories of how they buy things, and the new with it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm changing things. You can do a whole new story, everything has a story, but how interesting is it? And how much evidence do you have of that story to make it interesting? And how much people know about it to make it even more interesting, to want to know how interesting it is. But anyway, I'll leave that for later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these up. I'm going to spiv up some of them might not. Like this one here can stick to the story a little bit. Now, why would I pick that one to stick to the story a little bit more than this one? Well, it's up to you. But this one here, it's really rusted. See, in the picker show, there's between too much heritage and rust and style and not much story there, but it talks about the story of time and why that would be like that. In this story, it could be that it didn't stick well, right? But that's how it rolls, right? Just a quick blab about it. And so I'm picking this one because it still has a fair bit of it. It's pretty good nick, as they say. It's as old as the rest of the story as well, you see. Huh? And so I'm picking this one like a picker would pick a 1956 bike in a certain way. Depends on how much what he favours of the story, right? Because everyone's different, you see. And so this picker would go, well, as he speaks about, he likes certain things that people can reuse. Right? And so he picks out the 1956 bike, a rock, right? That one, right? They're all 1956. Right? As you see, they're all slightly different. And then you have another dude that goes, well, I want some piece that I can put up and not waste it. So there's no waste in everything. It depends on how you look at it as well. And I want to have that one because that can be a piece and no one really wants to use it, as it's pretty scattered everywhere when it comes to the why it got painted blue, and it's more about the blue story, right? And so they pick this, and they mention about it, and it gives the old rustic look. They like the rustic, right? The rustic people. And so they'll pick that one. That'll be more likely their favourite. Even if that was sitting there, they were after a certain rustic look, right? And so they might pick that one. Even though that one might have got sold, that they wanted that one anyway, right? So that's what you know if they like it. And then there's people who settle. Settles. They might go, well, I wanted that one, but that's not there. It's my second. And I guess because I can't get this one, we'll settle for this. Right? And we can do something with it or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then this one here, this little piggy, as they call it, you could crack in half, right? And this guy, he wanted to have two stories to the old story. And see what he did is he cracked it in half, and he used this one as the relic of what it used to be. So he got it pretty close to this one they got. And it's a big piece too. And he ends up getting a similar piece to that. And he breaks it, you see. And then this piece here, he can go the relic piece. And he can also maybe add to it and talk about that it was a relic piece. And now I can do this to it. And he likes to do things like that. And so he picks this rock. Right? And so in the end, there's all a good favourite rock, isn't there? Right? And God likes to teach us that everything is beautiful. Everything has a spot. Now, this person here will say this is rubbish. And he won't care, in a lot of cases, what you call ego, about how this is treated. Right? He only cares that he got what he wanted. And he's happy. He's a happy dude. And that's cool. But then he goes and bullies about what they believe because he's got big ego because his is prettier. It's a little bit like how humans are when they're born. And so God wants to see, why does he do that? And they want to see as well why that all happens. And to pass the test of getting along, as these two in the end think he's a dickhead, he becomes like this rich dude all by himself with all his money and his thoughts. Right? And these two get to get along. And at least there's two of you. You have a more alright life. And they get along and they do their thing. And they keep picking and choosing. And this dude over here, he becomes worse. He becomes more angry. More this. Believes he needs more of the cool shit to make him feel better with his ego and words. But in the end, he becomes sad and lonely with all the things that won't help him when he's sad in the end. Because humans, usually, and a lot of creatures, like connection. But if you have too much of your own thoughts, and your own opinion, and not seeing others, you may be left out of the group. Alright? But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Have a good one, everybody, and see you later. And patience is a good thing. But once again, when it comes to the test, how much patience is a good thing and how much isn't? Everything has a balance, right? And that's what we need to figure out together. And some things take longer because it needs to or it has to. And some things take longer because of this dude. Why is it taking longer to get things done in your life? Is it because of these dudes? Or is it because it's one of these dudes that run the system around you? And by yourself as one of these dudes. Can't do too much when we've got too many of these dudes that create a problem for all of these dudes. What do you reckon? Anyway, have a good one and see you later.